Good buzz YouTube, how's it going? Everybody got for you guys today a Wi-Fi battle. Shocking, I know I haven't done one of these in a while, but my boy PRLYZhax wanted to have a battle. It was kind of like an NU RU mixed-ish kind of battle, and it did turn out to be actually really good, so I hope you guys do enjoy. And this is like the type of Wi-Fi battles I like to have. I like to have fun Wi-Fi battles. I do want to get like more into competitive battling back on Wi-Fi, but you guys know that I don't really have the most free time in the world, and then just Showdown is so easy to record and stuff, and just I still at least want to try to upload one Wi-Fi battle a week. That's going to be my goal, because I'm going to be uploading Monday through Fridays. For those of you who don't know, I mentioned this in my previous upload, and I'm going to try to at least make one of those a Wi-Fi battle, so I can still kind of keep them on the channel, either live or post narrated. Anyways, I am rambling too much. If you don't know my boy PRLYZhax, aka Young Sapling, make sure to download his mixtape, guys, because it's fire. I'll leave his channel link and Twitter link down in the description. And me and him actually had a battle before this a couple months ago, and I'll leave a link to that down in the description, because that was also a really good match. So looking at my boy Seffs' team, the biggest threat I saw going into this match was going to be that Magneton, just because if it is choice specs with analytic, it's going to be punching a massive hole in my team. Zatu could also prove to be a bit of a problem depending on what kind of set it is. But looking at my team, I knew that my biggest threats to his team were going to be my Fracture and my Clawitzer. So I kind of make a dumb play in my opinion, and I straight up lead off with my Fracture. I probably shouldn't have done that, because he's going to be leading off with his Primate. I know he's not going to go straight for the close combat, because I do have a Gorgeist, and if he Ice Punches, that just gives me a free switch into my Clawitzer. So he ends up going for the U-turn, and because that did over 50%, that automatically told me, okay, this thing is definitely 100% choice banded, because there is no way that should have done that much damage to Fracture. Even though I'm not Eviolite, I am actually adamant choice banded, as I'm able to easily 2-KO the Marsh Stomp. I did get a crit, but judging for that damage, I highly doubt the crit really ended up mattering, as he's gonna bring in his Primate. I really don't have use for my Fracture at this point, just because it is slower than the remainder of his team, so I might as well just leave it in for death fodder so I can get switch initiative. So he's going to be able to knock me out with another U-turn. I was kind of hoping he would get like absolute minimum damage, so I can maybe get off another huge hit on something, as I make a just really stupid, terrible, bad play. And I bring in my Clawitzer. Honestly, I probably should have just brought in my Bouffalant, because as I mentioned, Clawitzer along with my Fracture that's gone are the two biggest threats to his teams. And then I overpredict, thinking that he would switch out and not stay in, fearing the Ice Beam or Dark Pulse, and then I lose my Clawitzer. So literally the two biggest threats to his team are now gone, and I am not sitting in a very favorable position, because this Zatu is a major problem. So he's going to end up going for the U-turn. I found it a little bit odd that he didn't want to go for the Roost to be able to recover up, but I mean, I wasn't too worried about it. And this like next minute or so, it's just going to be extremely sped up. Also, he has leftovers on Mischievous. I don't really know why. He told me that somebody made that for him, and I guess it's kind of good and bad, because it's not going to be taking Shadow Ball as well, but it is going to be annoying because he can recover 6% from the Toxic. And the reason why I went for Toxic is because I knew he wouldn't switch into Zatute. So after he burns me, I'm going to actually switch out to my Bouffalant, predicting him to predict me to stay in so he can finish me off with a Shadow Ball. This way, I can rack up 2 extra turns of toxic damage, because I know that he's going to want to try to burn my Bouffalant, so I can safely switch back into my Clay Doll. And this turn, I make a very awesome play in my opinion, and I do actually predict him to switch out, predicting me to go for the Shadow Ball, as I'm able to catch the incoming Bouffalant. This thing is actually kind of a problem, but then again, I do have Gorgeist, so I guess it's kind of tolerable, but I do want to be able to wear it down, just for the sole fact that my Gorgeist can literally not touch this thing whatsoever. And I really don't want to risk him possibly having Zap Zipper and me going for the Leech Seed. So it turns out that he has the Assault Vest, as he's going to go for the Rock Slide. He missed the previous one, but that extra damage doesn't really end up mattering for anything else that happens in this match, as you'll find out. And he's going to be able to get a flinch with the next Rock Slide, which honestly does not matter, because I was really bent on just staying in with Gorgeist and basically stalling out this Bouffalant. But I actually double switch into my girder thinking that he would go for another rock slide, as he actually switches out into his magneton, and I'm sitting in a very favorable position, just because now I will be able to go for the knockoff, as I'm going to be able to finish off this Miss Strevis, which is really great, because that was one thing just completely stopping my Boufflant from wrecking through his team. As he brings in the Satu, I don't really have any safe switch-ins to this thing on my team, so I'm basically just going to fodder off my Claydol, because at this point it's just really useless to me, and he ends up getting a crit, which completely mattered. I mean, that was game-changing, let's be honest. But this does now allow me to get a free switch into my Boufflant, which should be able to live any move that this Zatu wants to go for. And this turn I was like, alright, Seffs is going to go for the Roost, so I'm going to go for the Mega Horn. But no, he actually ends up going straight for the U-turn, and U-turning on now into his Boufflant. And I really wanted to go for the head smash. It was a head charge. Yeah, it's head charge. I really want to go for head charge, and if I had gone for head charge, I most likely would have been able to knock him out. But I guess it isn't too big of a deal, just because I mean I do have Gorgeist, and as I mentioned earlier, I think I mentioned it earlier, but he can't do anything to me, but vice versa, I can't do anything to him. Although I guess I could have gone for the lead seed this turn to see if he did have Zap Zipper, and I didn't bother asking him, so I still don't know if he does have Zap Zipper or not. So he's going to end up bringing in the Zatu, and at this point all I really want to do is just get off as much damage as possible on this thing, so my Boufflant can guarantee a no-ko on it at however much HP it will be left at, as it just barely lives. It's going to be able to go for the Heat Wave, but because Gorgeist is so fat and bulky, I'm going to be able to live the hit on 69 HP, I might add, and just follow up with another Shadow Save, because I really have no reason not to go for it, as he ends up bringing in the Magneton. I don't really know why he switched out to save his Attitude. I guess maybe he thinks he has use for it later in the match, but I'm going to be able to get off a solid like 40% amount of damage on this Magneton, which is really great, as he's going to be able to finish me off with a Flash Cannon. And I'm guessing he's Eviolite with Analytic, because he does end up switching up his moves. As I bring my Boufflant, I am Assault Vested, and that does entirely way too much damage, as I'm going to be able to knock him out with the Earthquake. This will now allow him to get a free switch into his Primate, which does outspeed me, but he ends up going for the U-turn as opposed to going for the close combat. Not entirely too sure why, as he's going to bring back in the Zatu, and obviously at the amount of HP that he's at, I'm going to be able to knock it out. And the animation for head charge is just fucking awesome. I really like that. So he's going to end up bringing his last Pokemon, which is his Primate. I'm down to my Boufflant and my Girder, and Seth ends up going for the Earthquake. But after this match, he ran a damage calc, and even though his Primate is banded, unless he got absolute maximum damage, which is 122 points of damage, then there is no way he would have been able to knock me out with a choice banded close combat. So he only had about a 2% chance, I want to say, to knock me out. So odds were still in my favor that I would be able to live a close combat, then Drain Punch, and then maybe Mach Punch, and finish him off. And just, yeah, that is basically the very narrow 1-0 victory in my favor. So hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, then you know what to do, guys. Make sure to hit the like button. I know I might have like messed up a bit in the narration, but I'm still trying to get back in the swing of things. And with that being said, guys, I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah, make sure to check out my previous 2 uploads. They are playing on your screen right now. So yeah, with that being said, I will see you all later, guys. So later.